Game week feel, Chris. This feels like a big game. You've got 3:30 CBS, and I'll tell you right off the bat, Chris, not pulling any punches. This is the best team we have played so far. Hands down. I know Michigan State is on the rebound after the last couple years under Coach Tuck. They got a good one in Smith. I think their program's going in the
Mhm.
right direction. But that was a young team. That was a team that was not ready for the athletes that Ohio State has. Iowa is a little bit of a different animal. I'm not saying that Iowa is on the same par as Oregon or the team up north or Penn State. They're usually right under those top echelon teams. But here's the thing: Iowa has one loss on the season by 1 point that happened in the last second with 1 second left on the clock. And if that goes their way, this is an undefeated team who people are talking could possibly be a CFP contender. No one is saying that right now, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that they are. But this is a big time step up for Ohio State. This is a team that's probably somewhere between 25 and 18 when it's all said and done, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen. Chris, your thoughts?
This is a dangerous team. It's a dangerous team and a dangerous week. We just came off that big win on the road, first Big Ten win for a lot of those new Buckeyes, as far as a conference win. And then you look at what we've got coming up next week, traveling to Eugene, Oregon. Um, this is a very good Iowa team, very fundamentally sound, very physical,
Yes.
very good defensively. They have an offense. They got the second best uh, running back in the country statistically. They've got an offensive line that has only given up, I believe, one sack on the season. Um, McNamara, while he's not putting up big numbers, is a fairly smart, fairly experienced quarterback. So this is a team that could present us with some problems. And if Ohio State starts slow, if Iowa gets on the board first, especially if they were to get, an early touchdown and say a field goal before Ohio State gets on the board, this is a team that's going to try to slow the game down, grind it,
Yep.
keep the ball out of the hands of those big time playmakers. And you referred to them as Michigan Light, Eric. They are about as Michigan as it gets this season, and they're led by a former Michigan quarterback, which was the first quarterback to start Ohio State's current losing streak against Michigan. So,
I stand by the comment. I stand by the comment. This is Michigan Light. I don't think they have as good a roster as what they have in Ann Arbor, especially up front defensively. But I would take Iowa's linebackers over what they have in Ann Arbor. I mean, that's no brainer. I also would take probably the offensive line that Iowa's bringing into the horseshoe over
oh,
what they
without a
have in
doubt.
Ann Arbor. And more, I mean, obviously, I would take the quarterback that Iowa's bringing in here, although I still don't think he's that great. His numbers aren't good, but let me run down some numbers that you brought out in our preview, Chris, real fast. Which, by the way, if you've not watched the preview, make sure you go and watch our preview for the Iowa game. It was with the 12 Saturdays 2.0
Mhm.
podcast. Joel joined Chris and I, and he broke down from their perspective. They're feeling good about this game.
They are.
They think that they match up well with the Buckeyes, and we're going to talk about some of these matchups because it's really really important that Ohio State can correct some things defensively because Iowa can exploit those things, which Michigan has exploited the last 3 years. And so this is a great litmus test for the Buckeyes. But of course, we're talking about Caleb Johnson, the Cincinnati running back, who shots fired. Chris, can we say that shots fired this week?
Yeah, yeah, and I've been looking at one of our big criticisms of Ryan Day is that we weren't getting enough Ohio kids in here, and a lot of these kids come and they go to Big Ten schools and they're being recruited by Fick, they're being recruited by that team up north, they're being recruited by Iowa and Indiana now, and these guys have a chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would say shots were fired. Absolutely. So,
Yeah, so Caleb Johnson lets everybody know that he would have never even gone to Ohio State if he would have been offered. If is the big question because he never was. So shots fired at Ohio State. He's an Ohio kid with a big chip on his shoulder to walk into the horseshoe. He's averaging right now 8.4 yards per carry. Through the first 4 games, he's got 9 touchdowns total and he's got 82 carries for 685 total yards. This is one of statistically the better running backs in the conference that's coming into the horseshoe.
Number 2 in the country.
He's number 2 in the country total right now. So he's got a big head and he's got a big mouth. I like it. Talk all you want. Give this defense more ammunition, please. I'm going to play for you all a soundbite from Tuesday's press conference. It happened at the very end. Ryan Day talks for about 30 minutes or so. Chip Kelly comes in, answers questions for about 15, 20. And then Jim Knowles walked in. Very interesting that Jim Knowles, who answered questions the week before,
Yeah.
shows up this week to answer questions again. And I was glad he did because he was hit with some good questions. Sonny Styles being out of position was asked. The lack of linebackers, good solid play from the linebackers, especially going into this week. The 4-2-5 versus the 4-3-4 and why and where and what's going on with that. And then someone asked a question that I brought up Sunday on why our cornerbacks were playing soft coverage so much. And Jim answers the question, but in answering the question, he, for lack of better term, um, he let the cat out in the bag on Caleb Downs. This is an amazing soundbite. I'm going to break it down and explain to you why I believe this is so huge for this weekend. Check this out, everybody.
You take a guy like Caleb Downs, who, we activated Saturday, and we're going to continue to activate him as we get into big time Big Ten competition. You see what he looks like when he's activated. What you don't see a lot is when he's not activated, how many times they just don't throw the ball deep. You know what I mean? Because he's in the right place and on top of the routes, and they don't even take those shots. Those shots aren't taken. So it's the same thing with the corners. It's like, the answer to your question is, do we need to be pressed more? Yes, we do. And we need to keep working that in, but we got to balance.
The chat picked up on it. We activated him. The first 2 games, Caleb Downs was playing deep. Just don't let anything get by you. Okay? Don't let him throw the deep ball. Last week, when they were struggling with the run, they went from a 4-2-5 in the second possession to a 4-3-4.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they told Caleb, we're still having trouble. Play closer to the line of scrimmage. And what happened? He got activated.
Yeah.
He was blowing things up at the line of scrimmage and in the backfield, Chris.
He was Alabama Downs again. In there on every play, getting in there, getting this, just like you said, blowing it up.
That's right. So here's what I'm saying, Chris. Iowa is not going to come in here and go 4 wide.
No,
They are not going to run the
I don't know if
spread.
they got 4 wide that can play.
Okay. They are coming in here and they are going to do what they do best. They're going to be in 12 and 13 personnel, which means they're going to run 2 and 3 tight ends at a
Yep.
time. Okay. And we've got to be what I heard earlier tonight. I was listening to the fan, and they had Andy Katzenmoyer on, and he said in a game like this, your linebackers must be sound in the gap
Mm-hmm.
responsibilities, meaning you must play your gap. You can't overreact. They're going to send a lot of eye candy at you. There's going to be a lot of shifting. Where's
Mm-hmm.
this linebacker? Where's that linebacker? You can't worry about that. You must worry about the gap and the tight end second. Okay, this is a huge test for our linebackers. Huge test. If we can be gap sound and our linebackers can answer the bell, we will win this game going away.
Mm-hmm.
If we struggle stopping Caleb Johnson, and he's breaking off 5, 6, 8 yard carries over and over and over again, and breaking off some big ones because we're not being sound gap steady, then we are in for a slugfest against Iowa.
And this is strength on strength there. This is the number 2 running back in the country versus one of the top 5 rushing defenses in the country. So this is strength on strength. So it's going to be a matter of, yeah. We say it so many times. This game's going to really come down to the big uglies on both sides. We're going to actually see just how good Ohio State's defensive line or offensive line is, but we're also going to see just how good Ohio State's defensive line is.
Yep.
Are they going to be able to keep those guys? And I know we all talk about getting home to the quarterback. Guys, we're not going to have 10 sacks because Cade McNamara may not have 10 dropbacks this week. So it's going to be a matter of can Sawyer, Tuamaloau, whoever's on the ends, turn those guys back inside? Can our linebackers come up? Can our defensive line get through there? Our defensive interior line get through there and get these guys tackles for losses? Or at least stop them with a minimal gain.
Jeremy with another great point. We can't stop this back. We have if we can't stop this back, we have zero chance of stopping Georgia, Bama, or whoever. Yeah. Okay. This is why I'm so excited about this test, and we've got 3 callers waiting to jump on. So we'll hurry up here and finish this up and go to the calls. Here's why I'm so excited about this game. The last 3 years, we've lost this game to the team up north. Iowa plays a lot like them. And like I've said, they're Michigan Light. We have to. This is our opportunity to see what Jim Knowles, Ryan Day, and this defensive staff have been working on all winter to fix those issues. And I believe the key is the regulator who's been activated in one Caleb Downs. If he plays the line of scrimmage and they're not worried about him going deep on us, I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all
Yeah.
right. I think we're going to be good defensively. So we will see. We'll see what he meant by that. That was very cryptic what he brought out there in Caleb Downs. And I for one, Chris, am looking forward to seeing exactly what this defense looks like against a run first team like Iowa. Any last thoughts before we go to the callers?
No, I'm with you. I'm pumped up to see what this defense looks like with Caleb Downs activated. But hey, Jim Knowles, while we're at it, buddy, let's just activate that whole defense because man, these guys are animals. Unleash the fury. Let them go. Let them go.